One of the many safety features incorporated into the design of a high mast pole is the power drive assembly's torque limiter coupling, or the clutch, as it is sometimes referred to. The power drive assembly is designed to deliver enough power to raise and lower the high mast ring and luminaires and to overcome the friction of moving parts, such as bearings and shafts. If the high mast winch or wire ropes bind, or if the power drive continues running after the ring is fully raised, the motor could deliver enough power to damage the winch or cause one or more of the wire ropes to break or separate. When the torque limiter coupling is correctly set, it will limit the power delivered by the motor to a safe value well below the capacity of the wire ropes and winch. The torque limiter coupling is located between the output of the drill motor and the input of the winch. The clutch is composed of many important parts: 2 sprockets, a double chain connecting the 2 sprockets together, and a friction disc that provides a sliding surface. A cupped washer keeps the friction disc under tension. A large adjusting nut and threaded shank make it possible to adjust the clutch's friction. A multi-tabbed lock washer secures the adjusting nut in its set position. Let's look at a high mast pole's winch, wire ropes, and luminaire ring in operation. This animation shows that as the ring is raised to the top of the pole, the main wire rope winds around the drum, or cylinder, on the winch. The high mast ring has 3 pilot pins that mate with 3 alignment receptacles on the stabilizer arms. When the pins meet the receptacles, the ring cannot be raised any higher, yet the winch could continue to run. When the ring reaches the top of the pole, the 3 springs on the cable attachment plate begin to compress. If the motor continues to run, it will pull the 3 springs to a fully compressed position. As the motor continues to pull, the force will increase on the wire ropes until the weakest one breaks or the drill stops running. The drill motor in the power drive assembly is a heavy-duty industrial-rated model that will develop plenty of torque or turning power. This power is fed directly into the winch. The winch's gear ratio multiplies the power of the motor. The torque limiter coupling provides the needed safety when set at the correct value of 35 foot-pounds. When the ring reaches the top and before the springs are fully compressed, we want the coupling's clutch to begin slipping, which will limit the amount of force applied as input power to the winch. Now that we are better acquainted with the purpose, location, and operation of the torque limiter coupling, we can review how to inspect and adjust this important safety device. First, the inspector must be familiar with the plans and standard sheets for the specific job. In particular, he must review TxDOT Departmental Materials Specification DMS 11021, High Mast Illumination Assembly Kits, and TxDOT Standard HMID, High Mast Illumination Details. Both documents cover the drive motor and the torque limiter coupling. HMID 7 Item 4A2 specifies that the torque limiter coupling should be set to a torque limit of 35 pound-feet. Before the torque limiter coupling can be properly set, the power drive assembly must be rigidly secured. This scene shows the power drive assembly secured to a shop table. A torque wrench of known accuracy is used. Note the certificate of calibration for this torque wrench. Here, the user demonstrates that the coupling will slip at 35 pounds of torque. If the torque measures more or less than the 35 foot-pounds specified in the plans, the coupling must be adjusted to the proper value. The setting of the torque coupling is not difficult to adjust. First, the adjusting nut must be unlocked by straightening the tabs on the lock washer. Next, a wrench is applied to the adjusting nut to change the amount of friction applied to the friction disc, which determines the amount of torque transmitted. After the adjustment nut is set properly, the tabs on the lock washer are bent to lock the nut into the final position. In the field, the power drive assembly is transported to the high mast pole site. Inspection of the torque limiter coupling can then be performed in the field. Safe lifting techniques should be used when unloading the power drive assembly and securing it to the pole. When installed on a high mast pole, the drive assembly is typically powered by a transformer connected to the power cord of the high mast pole. In addition to confirming the proper torque values, the inspector must also check the following items. Cord connectors should be properly secured to the cords. The bearing and universal joints must be properly lubricated. When raising or lowering the ring, workers should always keep a safe distance from the pole. Although the torque limiter coupling on the power drive and the safety brake on the winch are designed to minimize the chances of the ring falling, the safest practice is not to stand below the ring when it is moving. As the ring approaches the top of the pole, it is essential to watch the springs on the cable plate as they come into view in the handhole. When the ring contacts the top of the pole, the springs begin to compress. The power drive must be stopped when the springs reach the right amount of compression. If the torque limiter coupling slips at any time other than when the ring reaches the top of the pole, stop the motor immediately and investigate the cause. In normal conditions, the ring can be raised and lowered with a torque less than 35 foot-pounds. A slipping clutch means an obstruction or excess friction is in the system. The problem must be identified and repaired before the ring can be raised or lowered safely. The torque limiter coupling is an important part of the power drive assembly. When properly adjusted and maintained, it limits excess force on the wire ropes supporting the ring and prevents damage to the equipment and injury to personnel. The following is a short checklist of the major items the inspector will want to check on a power drive assembly. The transformer output voltage is correct. The cord terminations are in good condition, with no loose fittings or exposed wires. The bearing and universal joints have been greased. All fasteners are properly torqued. All material is new and unused. All cord connectors are properly secured to the cords. This video has concentrated only on the power drive assembly's torque limiter coupling. This video is not intended to be all-inclusive. Some maintenance tasks have been covered in detail in other training videos. The viewer is encouraged to invest a few minutes reviewing each of the following videos: high mast pole operation and maintenance, inspecting the high mast pole winch, high mast pole assembly, electrical safety, and the importance of proper grounding and bonding.